Nice to be back again. So I am working on a challenge for the Counterfeit Kit Challenge. And this is challenge number 1 for the month of November. And it is about anticipation. And I kept thinking, what am I anticipating? Like there were suggestions like anticipate the first snowfall or a holiday or something like that. And I thought that I would do it about anticipation of a coffee. So I guess it's not as big of a deal. It's a smaller deal, but that's what I'm going to do it on. So I have my mobile order for my coffee. I screenshotted that, and then my coffee sitting at Starbucks waiting for me to just run in and grab. So I have that. And now in the inspiration kit, they had these adorable little coffee cups, and I thought they were the cutest thing ever. And there's 3 slightly different sizes. So I went ahead and I just freehand drew them and painted them to match the colors in my kit. Not exactly these colors, but the ones that are in my kit. So I'm gonna do that, and then what I thought I would do, I really like the Scrap Squad scrap lifts. So this is the current scrap lift. I believe it's scrap lift number 26. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that. I try to keep up-ish on them because they're so fun to do. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of use this design for this challenge number 1. And I'll start working on this. I'm probably going to fast forward this bit so that you don't see how long it actually does take me. And I'm going to watch some kind of Netflix show while I'm at it. And yeah, and I'll voice over that part and let you know what's what as I go. All right, here we go, friends. All right, first of all, I want to go ahead and audition a bunch of these papers to see which ones will work the best with the scrap lift. And I like this kind of a grid piece of paper. It's a really old Bo Bunny piece of paper. I have no idea where it comes from. I know it's super old in that A, I don't usually pick up much Bo Bunny, and B, I had a flood in my basement probably 5 years ago, and it's slightly water damaged from that. So it is definitely vintage. Taking a look at the scrap lift again, and I think I'll go ahead and pop it up in the upper right hand corner so you can see what I'm doing as we go along. I went ahead and used my ever so vintage original Creative Memories cutter, you know, the kind with that little glass mat, to cut a semicircle for the top. And then I'm like, it's not quite big enough. So I'm looking at these other hand-me-down circles that I have. I've gotten them from people along the way that no longer scrapbook to see if there's a size that might work better, and there is not. All right, so I've gone ahead and I've attached this this black polka dotted piece of paper to this super thin aqua. It has like little arrows on it, and I decided to just do a really loose, bumpy, imperfect scallop around it, just because I wanted it a little bit bigger, but I also wanted it to be kind of interesting. I knew I wasn't going to be drawing the black lines like you kind of see there in the scrap lift. So I did need to bring just a little extra interest to my page, and this girl does like a nice little scallop now and again. So there you see, it's imperfect, it's adding a little bit in it. It is aqua and aqua, so it's not super bold, but I think it works for this layout. It also gives me that slightly larger, do you see how hideous the back of that is? A slightly larger base for this black and white polka dot. Oh my goodness, on the screen, that black and white polka dot is doing really weird things to my eyes. And I'm going to go ahead and back these photos that I have here just on a little bit of pattern paper. Now that piece right there, it's a gorgeous piece of paper. I believe it's by Snow and Cocoa. It is. It's a crepe paper piece of paper, and I love kind of like the distressed pink on pink tones of it. I think it does really nicely because as you see on my Bo Bunny piece of paper, I do have some, it looks like pink watercolor on the sides, like a little bit of watercolor and splatty bits and all that kind of stuff. So that works perfectly fine to do the colors of the kit that I've come up with for this month. I'm making sure to double check it. I do that a lot on my phone because, you know, I try to make it look at least as if it's in the parameters in some way of the scrap lift, but frequently it goes off course. I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of fun foam on the coffee cup piece of these photos, just to give it a little bit of lift and separation and show which photo is ever so more important than the other one. Although I don't know, I do love my Starbucks app, so that one's fairly important. Now this is pretty easy peasy because I have the polka dot lines up top as well as the grid on the layout, so it makes it fairly easy to line things up if you like things squared off. I am a huge user of my T-square ruler, and if you follow my channel, you see that tool out all the time. It's probably second to my ATG for tools that are used. Now I'm going to go ahead and use these alphas. I recently picked them up at Tuesday morning. I had gotten them in a really old kit, maybe a citrus twist kit, and I saw them at Tuesday morning recently, and they are foam with like cardstock on top of them, like it's holographic cardstock. So, sign me up. Got 2 more sets of them, and if I ever finish up that other kit, I will go ahead and put it with this. My title will be Anticipation, and what I've gone ahead there, all right, you saw that I cut up my little coffee cups that I just freehand drew them earlier, and then I just used some watercolors and barely had to mix them. I used one of the Prima sets of watercolors, and the colors were really close to the colors that were in my kit. Now I'm going through this little photo holder bin that I have with all these bits and pieces that match my Snow and Cocoa based kit, and I'm just auditioning pieces that I might be able to use on this layout. I usually like doing that because if I can shrink, I guess, my kit even further, my clusters end up fuller, if that makes sense. So I take out anything that might possibly work. It doesn't mean I use them all, but I do take out anything that I think would work to give myself, I guess, time to ponder over and really look at the supplies that I have on hand. And then I go ahead and start laying them down. So I've chosen all my bits and pieces, and I did have 2 pieces of washi that were in this little kit, I guess, and I went ahead and layered both of them. I'm going to struggle a little bit with this turquoise one. It wants to fight with me, but I'm going to put both of them underneath the photos. And I didn't use that bottom one that says hello. I tore off the end strip, and I put just one of the hello words up on the photo that I have on the left, bringing that washi tape up into that cluster area, because the details that I'm covering up right there aren't important at all. It's just part of the screenshot stuff. I think it was basically advertising. And I'm going to go ahead and layer up 2 of those cute little coffee cups at the top and 1 behind the photo on the right. And now I'm just trying to see where I might like to get my title, get some ideas before I put too much of these little pieces down. All right, so I'm gonna get that little cute label piece in. It's so funny, that's one of the things that was kicking around in my color drawers forever. And you put it in a kit, and all of a sudden it gets itself a little bit of value and makes its way on there. So that little Life is Good piece, I'm going to put that down at the bottom to give myself a nice anchor of black, how I have up at the top. And it'll, it's very bold, so it's gonna draw your eye right down there. I've got this little, I don't know, it's kind of like a shiny treated, it's not quite epoxy. I don't know what the material is, that little today word, and it's going ahead and giving me a point over to the coffee cup. I struggle a little bit with clips, but when I have it in my stash, I do definitely want to try to use them. I'm going to go ahead and use my T-square ruler and get this title on before I go much further. Oh, before I go much further, I thought I would tell you that I'm going to leave the links for both the Facebook group for these challenges as well as for the blog. I'll put both of the links below so you can see what's what. And if you would like to leave any questions, comments, that kind of thing, feel free to leave them down below, and I'll go back to you as soon as I can. And if you'd want to like and subscribe, that would be really, really great. It lets Facebook know that you like what I am putting up on my channel, so it's a win-win. So these little Snow and Cocoa puffies, I picked them up from Tuesday morning a little while ago. I'm on a spending freeze, so I am being quite frugal with what I do pick up, and I have a gift card for Tuesday morning, so that does fall within the parameters of my spending freeze. Now, I got that gift card in very early October, and I think I have only spent like $15 of it. So I've been doing really, really well. So you saw I put that little banner flag at the upper right of my photo, and I have these little pieces. They look like little snowflake pieces, and I think they are really old from both Heidi Swap and a Hip Kit Club exclusive from Once Upon a Time. They're definitely not new. I have this dark yellow acetate arrow. I know that one's Heidi Swap. And I'm going ahead to see if I can get these other pieces in. That Love This little piece does not end up making it on there. And I kind of felt like I had a lot going on with the snowflake shapes as well as the coffee shapes. So I'm trying to keep this kind of simple. These little stars, gosh, I think I have them in so many colors. They were at Tuesday morning a couple years back, and that is the end of the black ones. Now, black, gold, silver, I think I could use like 90 packs of things like that. These are these little tiny epoxy shapes. They're by Doodlebug, and I'm at the end of my pink pack of those as well. I do tend to either pick things up from Peachy Cheap, which I haven't done for months, or Tuesday morning, and that's where I get a lot of my kind of standard embellishments that will work for anything. So I'm trying to see if I can get any of these little puffy pieces on. This isn't really a snowy layout, so I'm going with some of the more generic pieces. They have these really great black and white stars that will work for this layout really nicely. Now, it felt like I was going a little too far out to the left, so I thought I should move some of the pieces inward just a little bit. I know that the scrap lift has it more up and down, but you know, I am the boss of this whole 12 by 12 layout, so I can decide where I want things to go that kind of, you know, look pleasing to my eye. I'm taking a look at these Chamel very large, they're glittery, they're beautiful, these enamel shapes, to see if any of them will work. I decided to go ahead and just write the date really quickly. I use a dark gray marker for the most part with my journaling so that it's not super bold on the page. It's a little bit more subdued than a true black pen or marker would be. Now, these are gorgeous, and they match this kit so incredibly well. I think that's so fun when you can put several different manufacturers, and it looks like they are from the same kit. That is great. So I use star shapes as well, trying to keep my icons and my pieces down to a dull roar, the different ones I use. And I'm seeing if that's complete, and I feel like it is. So I hope you like what you saw today, and I will be back ever so soon with another layout. There's a bit of a close-up, and I want to thank you guys for watching. I certainly appreciate it. Bye-bye now, friends.